Weekdays. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online, 24 hours a day.
Let's swing open the farm gate together every day on WHOW. I'm Stu Ellis, your host of the long-running agriculture feature called The Farm Gate. I bring the latest news and information on where agriculture is and where it's going to WHOW Ag listeners several times a day. From tariffs to treaties, from the Board of Trade to the running board on your truck, I cover Central Illinois agriculture every day on The Farm Gate. Hear it all on WHOW's many platforms, on the radio or online. Join me, Stu Ellis, for the Farm Gate.
8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Friday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast. We streamed to Facebook and YouTube this morning, brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. A special program comes to the DeWitt County Museum this Sunday. The Secrets of the David Davis Mansion is a book authored by Dr. Marcia Young, who was formerly the director of the David Davis Mansion. On the WHOW Morning Show Thursday, she called the book a biography of the house.
It's a book I've written about the Davis Mansion, and it's a history commemorating 150 years of the house. And in 2022, it marked the end of the construction of a 150-year period since the mansion was built. Mm-hmm. And the foundation board of the mansion decided that they wanted to commemorate that history, especially in the more recent years. Nobody had ever written anything about that. And so they asked me, as the former site manager, you're sitting around, you have nothing to do. You can crank a book out, can't you? And I was delighted to have the opportunity. So it's a sort of biography of the house, as you will, but it has so much in it that I think people have not heard before. And as I was talking to you earlier, I called it Secrets of the David Davis Mansion because not only are these things that many people might not have heard, but they were secrets to me too as I was writing the book. So it's covering the history of the house, but it's filled with rich stories about the people who lived in that house, and the things that they did haven't really been talked about before, and they're fun stories. Mm-hmm. So this program that we're going to have on Sunday, however, is going to be a little bit different slightly from what I've said before in McLean County, because I want to talk about the relationship between Clifton Moore of the Homestead, mm-hmm. the DeWitt County Museum, and David Davis, their friendship, and even a friendship that included some wonderful things that Clifton Moore did after David Davis's death for David Davis. It's going to be about this book, but it's going to be about Moore.
For Young, the way the C.H. Moore helped preserve the legacy of David Davis after his passing was something she was surprised to learn about. She explains Moore took time to care for his wife and help his son after his passing.
I think what stands out to me in a lot of the research I've been doing more recently is how close Clifton Moore and David Davis were. I had never paid much attention to birth and death dates for C.H. Moore, but he was born just 2 years after David Davis. But Davis died nearly 20 years before Clifton Moore did. So Moore spans a huge period of time that covers Davis's life here in McLean County and Moore's life in DeWitt County. But also, what I hadn't realized is what kind of influential role Clifton Moore, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this on Sunday, Clifton Moore played in Davis's life after Davis's death. So I'm going to start with Davis's death in this segment you and I are discussing, and I'm going to say that I'm going to reveal something that David Davis bequeathed to Clifton Moore in his will. And that intrigued me. So I thought about well, let me look more into the records, the archival records about what Moore might have done with regard to Davis after Davis was gone, because, Moore lives almost 20 years longer. And it turns out that Moore played a very influential role in the life of Davis's son, George P. Davis. And George P. Davis is a minor figure in history now, but he played a huge role in preserving the David Davis Mansion.
The presentation is Sunday, set for 2 p.m. in the carriage barn of the homestead. Will be a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, that is, but Young stresses this isn't your typical PowerPoint presentation.
People call it a PowerPoint presentation, and the minute you say PowerPoint, your audience members start dozing off. A bunch of words. No, it's actually illustrations, photographs, images, colorful. It is what we used to call a slide presentation, and it's just really, I think, going to be entertaining in that sense. A lot of images that the audience will not have had. They get to interact with me I'm asking them questions, we play a few games, and I'm asking them to participate in the games. I'm even asking them, what are they going to win? So it's a very interactive kind of program. And then, of course, there'll be time for questions at the end. But I'm talking about this house, but illustrating it constantly so that you can use your imagination as I talk, but you also have a lot of things to look at to engage the mind. So it's a very interactive presentation. I hope that not too many people doze off.
The presentation with Dr. Marcia Young begins at 2 p.m. Sunday at the C.H. Moore Homestead. A leading light of health and wellness is dialing in on maintaining vitality as we age. Dr. Jim Lavelle is the author of Cracking the Metabolic Code and the clinical director of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Performance Health Program. On the WHOW Morning Show Thursday, he told Regional Radio one of the top things we can do is exercise, and that can be as simple as 20 to 50 minutes of walking a day.
So the first thing is with exercise, for the majority of people, there's this misconception that, I've got to really I can't go in the gym. I'm not going to lift weights. I don't like that. Well, the thing we know is that even if you walk 21 minutes a day, 21 minutes a day, it will dramatically reduce the risk of diabetes and heart disease. And now, if you want to really be a champion, I got to really get after it. If you're able to walk 50 minutes 6 days a week, you would be really in a great position for helping your chemistry to maintain your lean body weight, help you to keep your blood sugar down, keep your blood vessels really flexible. The old term we used to hear is what? Hardening of the arteries, right? Well, all that is that as you get older and you're under stress and your blood sugars are going up, your blood vessels get more stiff because of the chronic inflammation that's being released in your body. So exercise, movement is so important. Get a stationary bike if you have to. Plop it. If you don't want to miss your TV show, plop the dang exercise bike right in front of your TV, whatever it takes. Nothing wrong with that. I'm like, look, if that's the way you'll get it done, do it that way. I'm kind of a guy, I like that guy. I was in the gym already this morning. I have a gym in my garage, and I walked outside in the morning, and I did my treadmill, did my bike, lifted some weights, and but that's a habit that I started to create actually when I was very young, and stuck with it pretty good over all these years. But it does take having a habit.
According to Dr. Lavelle, nutrition is also important as we age. Getting enough good quality food is very important. He says you want to avoid foods that are going to bring down your energy and focus on foods that will make you feel good.
I think one of the biggest issues in terms of food is that people don't look at food. They go, I got to go on a diet, right? And whenever you hear the word diet, you think, I'm taking things away from me, right? I can't have this, I can't have that. And actually, it's kind of true. No, you can't have pizza and nachos and chicken wings. But the reality is, no, you look around and you look at how much caffeine is being taken in by people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you go into if you remember back when Red Bull first came out, it was the only thing. If you walked into a gas station, there'd be a Red Bull there for caffeinated drink. I regularly do caffeine intake queries on people because you take in a lot of caffeine, and that once again, that's stimulating your sympathetic nervous system. There's a reason why most people are feeling fatigued. There's a reason for that, and it's because basically they're not able to sustain their energy. So if you start to get sleep at night, if you start to watch your food intake, one of the big things that happen, why people have that midday energy crash, I call it the 2 o'clock drop. Right. And, you talk to people, so many people are like, oh, I got to get my Starbucks triple latte, double calf, and I'm going to try to see if I can find some caffeine sprinkles. I gotta have it because I'm crashing at 2 o'clock. Well, a lot of times people are eating real high carb lunches. They're getting a lot of bread, right? Or they're eating a big bowl of rice, a nice big bowl of rice. And that's going to throw off your blood sugar, and it's going to drop. Your blood sugar is going to drop because you're going to release a lot of insulin. Blood sugar drops out, and all of a sudden you're 2 o'clock and your head's hitting the desk. You can't keep yourself up. And so understanding about, well, how do I eat so that I feel good is the way I try to get people to understand, quote, a diet. Like, what do you eat that makes you feel good?
Dr. Lavelle indicates there's also plenty of models of healthy eating across the world where people are active and energetic as they age. He notes it does require discipline and dedication, but it is worth it.
And then there's the category of, what do I eat because it's pure joy and I like to have a dessert once in a while? I'm at this great restaurant and I'm going to have a treat meal. And fantastic. But we forget, in general, people eat too much, they eat too often, they eat too late, they don't get enough sleep, and they don't exercise. And so, when you're talking about longevity, so there's these blue zones in the world where the biggest populations of people that live to 100, right? So Sardinia, Icarus in Greece, in Japan, or in Korea, South Korea, Okinawa. There's different areas, right? And they all have one thing in common. People eat more vegetables. They eat smaller portions of protein. And I'm not anti-protein. I mean, I think people should eat protein, but they eat smaller portions of protein. We don't need to eat 24-ounce steaks. We only need to eat 16-ounce steaks, right? You can have an 8-ounce portion or even a 6-ounce portion. And in addition to that, they're moving. You got an 80-year-old walking up 400 steps during the course of the day in Sardinia, and they're still active and moving. And the other thing is they don't work 7-day work weeks. They still have lunch. They still sit and relax and have a nice dinner. Right? Family's still important. And those folks, they don't have any of the whiz-bang stuff we got here, taking Tibetan goji berries and resveratrol and CoQ10. They're just out there eating good food and moving and not letting stress overcome their life. So that's the biggest thing that people should try to get some sort of handle on in their life.
Dr. Lavelle also encourages finding things to be grateful for to improve your mental health. He notes getting exercise will help with that as well. 20 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Friday, we stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Get the